Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about starting sixth form, entering year 12, the whole shebang. You can find everything you need in one video. Within the first term of year 12, you're going to want to know everything I'm about to talk about. Let's go. Firstly, quickly, for context about me, my name is Cheryl. I just finished year 13. I'm fresh out of sixth form very recently, so very new. I studied biology, chemistry and maths. I honestly wish I had a video like this when I was starting year 12, so I knew what to look forward to. I just kind of went in and hope for the best. But thankfully you guys don't have to do the same. You can learn from me. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is choosing your subjects. Sixth forms understand that within the first couple of weeks, you're most likely gonna change your subjects. You might not enjoy some of them and want to move around. Maybe you're certain on the subjects you want to do, maybe you already know, but if you don't know, it will be fine. At least within the first couple of weeks, they let you change your subjects. So don't be too scared thinking you're stuck with these subjects that you hate, if you do hate them. But for choosing your subject, it's really good to do things that you're best at and things that you enjoy, because it will make it a lot easier throughout the A-level journey to do subjects that you actually love, because then you'll find it easier to revise for them. And if you're not sure exactly what career you want to go into, then pick generic subjects such as chemistry, maths, English language, even history can be considered generic as it is a humanity. Just pick things that aren't too niche, so that if you do change your mind in terms of career, you'll still be okay, because the subjects you chose allow you to do many different careers. But yeah, choosing your subjects links to your career, so just make sure you research into what you want to do. You don't have to know what you want to do as soon as you start year 12, that's perfectly fine. You'll find it out as you begin to do work experience, etc. As long as you know what subjects you enjoy and like, it should get you on the right path. But I encourage you to look into it because it'll make life a lot easier. So yeah, that's all about choosing subjects. The next part I want to talk about is transition work and basically the step up from GCSE to A-level. I would argue the step wasn't too crazy. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Honestly, I think the first few modules of most A-level, or let's say AS level, since it's just year 1, most of them link from GCSE. Most of them you've like heard somewhat about it, and it'll just be an extension of things you've already learned in GCSE. Like honestly, at least for the first term, a lot of the things you'll learn will be just extensions from GCSE, and there won't be too much new stuff to pick up on. So if you're worried about the transition, honestly don't be. As long as you're solid with your GCSE like content, obviously you would be, because otherwise you wouldn't have the grades to do the subjects. Don't worry about that. Then you'll find that year 12 is quite an easy transition, and it's honestly just building upon GCSE knowledge. It's not a crazy jump. I would say the real jump comes when you go from year 12 to year 13, but for you year 12, you don't have to worry too much about that now. Just focus on building upon the knowledge that you already have. And I also want to encourage you that you wouldn't have got into the course, the A-level course, if you weren't capable of doing it. There's a reason why we have entry requirements. Some schools require you to have a 6 or a 7 to study a certain subject. And if you have acquired that grade, then you don't need to worry like, am I good enough to do it? You're perfectly fine and you're in it. Even if you didn't reach the entry requirement and you still happen to be doing the course, that shouldn't faze you, don't be too worried. There are people that got straight 9s at GCSE, and for some reason when they come to A-level, they completely flop. People in my school had straight 9s at GCSE, and at the end of their A-levels just gone, they got C's and D's. Why, you may ask, like what happened? Aren't they A-star students? Well, it's not really about what you got on your GCSEs, it's about how hard are you willing to work in sixth form? How hard are you willing to work for your A-level? If you haven't got a grade 9 in a subject, that does not mean you can't get an A-star in that subject. It's honestly down to you to put in the work and you will see results. So yes, I want to encourage you to not ponder too much about your GCSE results. Even if you did get straight 9s, don't be too complacent, don't get comfortable. A-levels are a different ball game, and so your GCSE grades aren't a determining factor as to what you would get at the end of your A-levels. So number one, encouragement. You don't need 9s at GCSE to get A-stars at A-level, and the step up isn't too crazy. It's all about building and building and building. So yes, I did some of my transition work. Honestly, not a lot. You can do your transition work, but you won't be doomed if you don't do your transition work. I recommend you do it just to get a taster for the subject. Next, we're going to talk about organisation. So you're starting year 12, September, getting in the groove of things. How do you sort of organise your subjects? To begin your organisation from the second you get familiar with the syllabus. So if you find out you're doing Edexcel A-level maths, Then you want to start looking at the specification, you want to start knowing what papers there are, and just start familiarizing yourself with what's actually going on in your course. Especially for things like biology where they're very content heavy, you want to start making folders maybe of topic 1 to 4 and just literally set them up on your iPad or on your Notion or whatever. Even if the folders are empty, download that specification and begin to just break down the topics in a systematic way. If you are a flashcard person, I strongly recommend you begin making your flashcard decks as soon as you find out what topics are in your specification, because you don't want to be the person typing flashcards in year 30. If you're a note taker, ensure you know what notes you're going to need to take. Just really look at your specification and familiarize yourself with the subtopics and the sections. It doesn't need to be any extravagant or intricate detailed organization. You just need a rough outline of everything that's kind of going on in your course, and I really recommend you do this from the time you start. You don't want to be organizing all your files when you're trying to revise for your mocks at the same time. So be organized from the start. And the second part of this organisation/revision, your revision methods for GCSEs may be different for A-levels. I want you to explore, at least for the first month, see if you like flashcards, see if you prefer, I don't know, notes or video, whatever it is. For you, there's loads of different types of learners. But in terms of revision, just try different things and see what works. The way you'll know if your revision methods are working is how you're doing in your little midpoints and topic tests that happen in class. Like, you never know. Maybe you're a person that learns best from just listening to your teacher in lesson and then going home and doing practice questions. Or maybe you struggle to listen to the teacher, so you want to do your own notes, and during lesson you can do something else. Do what works for you. Some specific recommendations would be, if you're someone that gets like lazy after school, just force yourself to stay in the school building for literally an additional hour every day. Giving yourself 1 hour after school, after sixth form, every day can really impact your grade for the better. So honestly, if you can do that, go ahead and do that. Staying in the library for 2 hours after school, you know, it means that you just kind of finish the school day, and when you get home you can chill. Or maybe you're someone who after the school day you're completely tired. You will kind of figure this out on the first week. Maybe after the school day you're completely tired, or maybe you have a really long travel journey home, because that all needs to be accounted for. So maybe you're best to come home, eat, have a nap, and start revising later on in the evening. And when it comes to revision, everyone was different. I know people that got A stars that never went library. I know people that got A stars that always went library. Like, it's honestly down to you. So I've given you some recommendations. Honestly, do what works for you. The second you begin to fall behind on homework and on classwork, that is when you'll see depletion, okay? Stay on track as much as you can. When you're given homework, just do it at lunch, or just do it when you get home. Don't let it pile up in sixth form, because it can honestly be too much, especially when you do STEM subjects and they begin to give you random stuff like practical books. The best way to stay on track is to do things as soon as they come. Don't delay, or just find the perfect time in your week to do all your tasks. The next section we're talking about is mocks and tests. So firstly, tests, like topic tests and class tests. One thing I learned, if you want A's and A stars, what you need to do, and this is literally the golden rule to sixth form, every time you have a topic test, revise for the topic test like it's an actual important test. Even when they say, oh, this is just a midpoint or whatever, it is really going to benefit you in the long run if you revise for each topic and sit the test, because you sitting the test is basically practice questions for yourself. It benefits you. If you revise for each topic like it matters and sit every topic test to the best of your ability, you'll find that when it comes to your mocks, you've actually already revised for most of the topics because you've been doing it as the year's been going along. If you don't revise for your in-class tests, low stake assessments, you'll find that when it gets to mock time and actual A levels, you're going to have a lot of revision to do. So if you can, just revise for every mini topic test as they come, because that will break down the workload for you a lot easier. It's actually going to stick in your head if you've done it in an exam in a classroom. That brings me on to mocks. Every school's different. You have 1 or 2 mocks before the final mock that determines your predicted grades. So I remember when I was in year 12, I put a lot of pressure on myself for the end of year exams. Even though I put a lot of pressure on myself, I did not revise as much as I should have for my end of year exams. So I want to advise you all, revise for every mock, every fake test, every practice test. Treat it like it's a proper test, only because it's going to help you in the long run. Second, you know when your mock dates are, begin to put that in your calendar, put it on your Notion, stay up to date with everything that's happening. A week before mock, try to just be doing practice questions. If you're still on content, you really want to start getting a move on. Get a move on. Okay, the next section we're going to talk about is the social aspect of sixth form. Free periods, friends, I'm putting them in the same category because they literally link. Frees and friends, frees and friends. Put yourself out there. Don't try too hard is my personal thing. Me personally, like in my head, I never had the intention of, I need to make friends. And that's probably why I made them, because I wasn't trying to. Literally just be yourself. If you cannot be yourself, you need to start. If you struggle to just be yourself, then that's a whole different issue and we need to work on that. No, honestly, just be genuine. Be a genuine person, just chill. And I'm telling you, the friends will attract you. That's also not to say, you know, be stush and sit away from people and don't talk to people. Be social, be outgoing. Don't try too hard, don't try too little. Just literally be you, and the friends will come to you if you let them, of course. Especially if you're going to a new sixth form where you don't know anybody, don't be too stressed about making friends, because there's going to be a seating plan. You're going to end up sitting next to someone, you're going to end up talking to that person, and who knows, that could be literally a friendship for the next 2 years. My battery's dead. Yeah, nice one. The camera literally died when I was talking about frees and friends. Like if you have 2 frees, maybe spend 1 free doing work and like 1 free with your friends. That way you can like stay on top of your social life and your schoolwork that's coming. Sorry, I'm fidgeting so much. Don't waste all your frees and then do it after school. Use your frees to revise. Don't waste your frees talking. You will regret it when mocks come. But yeah, that's my tips for like friendship, and honestly just stay out of the drama. It's 2 years long, guys. 2 years is not that long, like just 2 years, so stay out of it. Honestly, stay out of it. Next thing we're going to talk about is your career. If your school don't do lots of in-house career talk, you know, apprenticeship talk, then I'd really advise you to go on the internet and explore for yourself. My school in particular, they always had lots of speakers coming into school to talk to us about our future, about our careers. And within the first term, I'd heard so much about like university and stuff than I ever had in my whole life. If you're worried about what career paths to go down, I honestly just say research, ask your teachers. If you're lucky enough, you have a lot of speakers coming to speak to you anyways. Obviously, because you are in year 12, you have the older year groups, the year 13s to, someone's at my door. You will have the older year groups to sort of help you. Don't be shy to just ask a year 13 like about careers and stuff if you're not sure. More time they'll be able to help you. So yeah, linking the careers to the first subtopic about choosing subjects. Ensure your subjects will help you get into your future career. That brings me on to the next subtopic about work experience. Work experience honestly solidified my choice to want to be a doctor. I was thankful enough to get a placement in a GP where I got to shadow a GP for a week, and honestly it was the most amazing experience of my life. Not because anything special happened in the practice, I honestly just loved the job role. We'll talk about that in another video. I believe work experience is super helpful to kind of see what career path you want to go to. Your work experience doesn't have to be in the career that you're going to do, because it is obviously not easy to get work experience in a dental surgery or in an accounting firm. So honestly, as long as you get work experience that has transferable skills, anything, it can literally be volunteering, care home, nursery, help your neighbour, working at a gymnastics club. You can get work experience at any job, even retail, okay? Because it's all about those transferable skills. I'll put the things I'm talking about on the screen. Can you be an adaptable person? Do you have good characteristics? Don't stress too much about getting work experience in the career that you want to do or in the like profession, but do make sure you get work experience before the end of year 12 or even in the summer of year 12, because it's honestly going to help you kind of get a tunnel vision or narrow down your like choices and your confusion around your career. And the last section we're going to talk about is UCAS, predicted grades. If you know you're taking a gap year, obviously this is a whole different story for you. But if you know you're applying, I recommend writing a personal statement at the end of year 12, just as you're going into year 13, so you don't have to like think too much about it during your A-levels. Yeah, predicted grades, smash those last mocks so they can give you good predicted grades. If you're lucky, your school will move it up a grade or 2. Yeah, like let your predicted grades be a reflection of what you want to get at the end. If you're going to mess around in the first half, but don't mess up your last mocks in year 12, because they ultimately get you into university if you are going to uni straight away. And if you know you're taking a gap year, then you have the luxury of just focusing on your A-levels throughout the whole year 13. I almost forgot to mention that if you do think you want to take a gap year, it's not that easy. You need to have a solid plan as to exactly what you want to do on that gap year, before, leading up, after. You need to know what you're doing. Taking a gap year is not a cop-out. Taking a gap year is not a relaxation or a break. Taking a gap year is simply a time period off from formal education with the intention of going back in. So if you do want to take a gap year, please don't relax. You need to have a solid plan to exactly what you're going to do, and for obviously university after, if that's what you're going to do. But yeah, that is all the things I wish I knew before starting year 12. Honestly guys, just enjoy it, have fun. I pray your first day of school is amazing, and I pray that you're understanding, like you begin to understand your A-level subjects a bit more. It's easier that way. I will see you in my next one. Comment down below other videos you want. Bye! Bye everyone.